In this video, we will show you how to replace your right side VVT solenoid on this Nissan Maxima. This will be located along the passenger side of your engine compartment. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. We're going to remove the plastic panel that makes its way across the passenger side of the engine compartment. Along the rearward side of that plastic panel is where you're going to find a push clip. We can remove that. To remove your push clip, we're going to carefully start removing the center to unlock it and then remove the outer portion as well for full removal. Push clips can be different. Some of them you carefully unscrew the center, others you can pry it up. Some you can even push down on the center. Really depends on which type you have. This one looks like it's been replaced. Just gonna see if I can get it out of here. There we go. A quick inspection, make sure it is reusable, otherwise you do want to replace it. This one looks fine, we'll set it aside. Continue on to removing your panel. We'll just give that a quick inspection. Set that aside as well. Now we're going to remove as much fluid from inside of the power steering reservoir as possible. Obviously, for the refilling, we're going to want to make sure we have brand new fluid. For this, you can use either Nissan specific fluid or you can use Dextron 6 transmission fluid. Before removing the cap, let's make sure we clean up any miscellaneous debris along the top so nothing falls in the system. I'm just going to use a rag for this, make my way around. To remove your cap, go ahead and turn that counterclockwise, lift it straight up and out of position. Once you have it off of there, a quick inspection of your rubber seal. This one looks fine. We'll set that cap aside. Go ahead and remove as much fluid as possible from the reservoir. To remove the fluid, I'm just going to use a fluid extractor. You can also use a fluid vacuum of some sort if necessary. After removing as much fluid as possible from the reservoir, we'll make our way along the back side of the reservoir. In this area, you're going to find that there's a small metal bracket. We don't need to dislodge the bracket so much as just the reservoir from the bracket. Along the back side, there's this small locking ear. I'm using an angled pick. Make your way in between the locking ear and the reservoir. You should be able to lift the reservoir up and out of position. Now we're going to be focusing on the hose located just along the bottom side of that reservoir. Keep in mind, as you remove this, fluid may make its way out. That's why we try to remove as much as possible. For this hose, you're going to find that it has a small squeezable clamp. We're going to go ahead and squeeze that. We'll slide it out of position, and then we should be able to remove the hose from the reservoir. To remove the hose, I'm using an angled hose pick. Just try to separate this. We're being extremely careful not to cause any damage to that hose or the reservoir. We are reusing both. Now we've got the reservoir out of here. We're going to take this hose and we're going to slide it out of our way. I typically like to push it all the way towards the back side of the engine. We're just keeping in mind that there is still fluid inside of this hose. You can try to remove as much as you want, but typically some still will make its way out. We're going to move along to removing the bracket which held the power steering hose in place. For this, you're going to find that there's two studs that make their way out from the body of the vehicle. One of those studs is only an alignment stud holding the bracket in the proper placement, but the upper stud has a 10mm mounting nut on it that we're going to remove so we can remove this bracket. For this, I'm going to be using a 10mm ratcheting wrench. Take hold of that bracket, give it a wiggle, and slide it out of place. There's the port that we had removed the mounting nut from. The other one, as I mentioned, is literally just where the alignment stud is located. Quick inspection of the bracket and set it aside. Now with that bracket out of place, we have a clear view of our right side VVT solenoid, right on the passenger side of the engine here. Let's start by disconnecting our electrical connector down along the bottom forward side of this. For the electrical connector, you're going to find it has a small locking tab. Go ahead and squeeze it in and we should be able to pull this out of place. I popped the lock free, so now I'm just going to try to give this a little wiggle. It should want to slide off of here. Nissan electrical connectors are typically stuck in place. It's very common. Just using my angled pick, a little bit more leverage here. Once you have it disconnected, a quick inspection of the harness, making sure there's no corrosion. This looks fine. We'll set it aside. Now we're moving along to the 10mm headed mounting bolt holding the VVT solenoid in place. We disconnected the wiring harness from down along the bottom of the VVT solenoid. The mounting bolt is up along the top, pretty much on the opposite side of that solenoid. Now to remove the bolt, there's minimal room to gain access in this area. For this, I'm using a deep 10mm. I have a short extension and also a flexible head ratchet, because when we're in here, we're going to have the ratchet at an angle like this. Carefully get that bolt out of here. We're being careful not to drop it down inside the engine compartment. It can be difficult to find it. Before we slide the VVT solenoid out of the engine, we need to keep in mind that there could be oil in this area, and we don't want anything getting on our serpentine belt. Let's protect the area. I'm just going to use some rags for this. We are not going to remove the VVT solenoid yet. If you were to look just below the VVT solenoid, you're going to find that there's a small metal bracket. Comes right across here. It's holding this wiring harness in place. We have to dislodge the bracket. That's held in place with two 10mm mounting bolts. There's one right down in this area here. This one's fairly simple to gain access to. The next one, if you were following that bracket rearward, is tucked up just behind this area. It's a little bit more difficult to gain access to, but it's definitely doable. Let's start getting these out of here. Let's move along to the second mounting bolt for this small bracket. We got that one almost out of there. Let's be careful not to drop this along the back side of the engine compartment. Now we should be able to move that bracket out of our way. With the bracket out of the way, the next thing we have to do is remove one more 10mm headed mounting bolt located just below that VVT solenoid, behind where the bracket was located. Okay, that one's almost out of there. Now we can start removing our VVT solenoid. Keep in mind, oil may come out of this area. There it is, friend. Now that we have that out of position, let's make sure that we clean up the mounting point. It's fairly difficult to see down in this area, so we're just going to use a clean rag, no detergents or cleaners in any way, and we'll just give it a quick wipe. Okay, let's prepare to install our brand new VVT solenoid. When we go to install this, let's make sure we have it in the proper orientation. And one more thing before we slide it into place is down at this area at the base, there's a small rubber O-ring. Go ahead and lubricate that with some clean motor oil. After that, we can get this into position, sliding it up and starting our mounting bolt. There we are, that's starting to go into the mounting port. Let's make sure that it slides up without resistance. Press it up till you hear an audible click. It should be completely bottomed out. Let's start in the mounting bolt and snug it up. Once you have that bottomed out, the torque for this is 96 inch-pounds. You may find that you have a difficult time getting a torque wrench in here, so just make sure it's nice and snug. Once you feel as though you have it tight, go ahead and take hold of it and attempt to give it a wiggle. It should not move out of place. Continuing on, let's get that 10mm headed mounting bolt in position just underneath where the VVT solenoid is. Start it in, snug it up. Okay, right there is bottomed out. Just take it a tiny bit further here, confirming it's tight. Once you have that in place, we'll continue on with our bracket. We'll get the bracket in place, start in each one of the two mounting bolts before tightening either of them. Once they are started in, you can go ahead and snug those up as well. Okay, there's bottomed out. Tiny bit further on that one. Same thing for the next. Bottomed out. Just a tiny bit further here. Now it's time for the electrical connector. Just pull that up into position here. Listen for a click from that. And try to pull that out of place now. It should not fall off. Before we remove our protective cloth, let's just use a tiny bit of parts cleaner here, cleaning up the area from any residual oil. While we're down in this area, go ahead and give your belt a quick peek, confirming that there's no miscellaneous debris or oils on it. It's time for the hose bracket. We're going to get this in position, sliding it over each of our two studs. The upper mounting stud will have our 10mm mounting nut. Start it on, snug it up. Bottomed out. Take hold of that bracket, give it a wiggle, it should not fall out of place. We're going to bring the power steering hose over towards where that power steering reservoir should be. And then we'll get the power steering reservoir close to being in the proper position so we can install our hose. Bring this over here. Once the hose is in place, let's get the rest of that reservoir in position. Couple light taps, driving it down. Attempt to lift it up and out of position. Let's fill up our power steering reservoir. When filling this, we're going to use the manufacturer fluid, but you can also use Dextron 6 transmission fluid. When filling this, we want to be up to our maximum line. Let's go ahead and start adding fluid. I'm using a funnel so I don't make any mess. Now that we've topped off our power steering fluid, we're going to reinstall our cap. Let's get our plastic cover in place. Just want to slide this down on here. Align your push pin port and install it. The next thing we need to do is check our engine oil. To do that, you want to make sure on a flat level surface, we're going to start up the vehicle, let it run for approximately 30 seconds and turn it off. After that, you're going to have to wait for another 30 seconds, and then we'll remove our engine oil dipstick. Now that we've waited, we can pull this up and out of place. We're just going to give it a quick wipe, and I'll show you what we're looking for. On our engine oil dipstick, you can see that there's a small hatched area, right where my thumb is located. Essentially, we want to be all the way up to this area, in the hatched area with clean engine oil. If it looks like it's low, go ahead and add some. You definitely don't want to add up and above the maximum line. Let's go ahead and reinstall this. Okay, friend, we finished the installation of our VVT solenoid. At this point, just double check for leaks, close the hood, and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.